So you guys have found in your research that ISIS essentially has what's almost like a help desk for people who are interested in learning security tips, right?
That's correct. We found that they have a whole bunch of distributed platforms across the internet that enable them to ask questions and receive answers in a relatively rapid period of time.
Where are these platforms?
These platforms are distributed across multiple servers globally. One of the platforms that they use has been Telegram. They use other programs such as WhatsApp, and then they also use sites within the Tor network itself.
What are the top questions people are asking on this ISIS help desk?
Is Skype secure? And consistently they say, stop using Skype. It's not secure for what we want to do. The next question is how do I engage in secure browsing? Other questions are which phone applications should I use to make phone calls? How should I remove my device from certain situations?
Can you show me some of your findings?
This channel here is devoted to basically deciding who to attack, when to attack, and how to attack various organizations around the world. In fact, if I go down to today, you can see that they're actually talking about how to defend themselves against Anonymous. Follow the instructions to avoid being hacked. Do not open any kind of links unless you are sure from the source. Use VPN, change your IP constantly for security reasons, phones and computers. You
mentioned that there's a core group of 5 or 6 members who answer these questions. What do we know about these guys?
We don't know a whole lot about them other than they are fairly technically savvy in how they answer their questions. They rapidly respond to the questions being answered, and they do it at a high level that suggests at least a collegiate or a master's level education in IT or computer science.
What's the craziest thing you've seen when you've been monitoring their activities and their advice on this help desk?
Several crazy things have really run up. The number of times they reference Edward Snowden. And in fact, they refer to him as Brother Snowden. They say Brother Snowden recommends this app or that app. And that's not to say that what Edward Snowden did was good or bad. It just needs to make us cognizant of the fact that when we release information on our capabilities, sometimes it can have great good and inform the citizenry, and sometimes it can go to less good ends.
As someone who's looked at the good and the bad of technology, we've entered this really interesting conversation where you see tech used for good, but this same technology is used for bad. We get right back into the encryption debate, which is in the spotlight.
I disagree with some of the policymakers coming out right now, personally. I think that there's no really good way to break into encryption. If you put a back door in something, it's a back door for everybody. Even though you might say, well, we're the only ones that have the keys, everybody's going to be looking for those keys. And so it's better to create strong cryptographic programs that safeguard our personal lives, our commerce, and everything that we do. And then really focus on targeting for human intelligence, really focus on getting people before they get tech savvy, and that allows us to really hone our resources, hone our focus, and turn the conversation away from blanket surveillance, blanket breaking of encryption, to a more targeted approach.